Hey Jim, this is Daniel. I wanted to follow up to see if you're in the market, or I wanted to follow up with the call that we had a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to see if you're still interested, or I wanted to see if you have any questions, or I want to see if we could schedule a call to review the numbers that we talked about a week ago. And the problem with that is it's too easy for the person who's receiving the message to say no. Like, nah, I'm cool, right? Like, nah, if I told you no, you know what I mean? I don't need to talk to you again. So for example, if you're a loan officer right now, if you're just in sales period and you're doing a lot of outbound calls, and this is to my point, if you're doing a lot of outbound calls, but you don't got, sales or business to justify all those calls, right? Like, yeah, I'm doing 100 calls every day. I mean, some people, I hear 300 calls. I'm like, man, how you got time for 300 calls? And they're not getting any traction. Well, the reason for that is because of the approach. And so the common approach when salespeople call out to prospects, whether they never talked to them before or they have and they pitch their product, or maybe they talk to the company, whatever it is, right? The mainstream common approach is this. It sounds like this. And I want you to hear it because empathy is probably the strongest strength that you could have as a salesperson. But here goes the follow-up. And if this sounds like you, don't turn it off. Don't get pissed or anything. Just understand that that's you. And so the call sounds something like this. Hey Jim, this is Daniel. I wanted to follow up to see if you're in the market, or I wanted to follow up with the call that we had a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to see if you're still interested, or I wanted to see if you have any questions, or I want to see if we could schedule a call to review the numbers that we talked about a week ago. And the problem with that is it's too easy for the person who's receiving the message to say no. Like, nah, I'm cool, right? Like, nah, if I told you no, you know what I mean? I don't need to talk to you again. And the new remastered approach is the most effective approach that you could possibly have. And that approach, now remember, compare it, right? So the new approach sounds something like this. Hey Jim, this is Daniel. I'm gonna be sending you some information on the campaign that we got in your area. It's limited, it actually expires next month. And the reason why I'm sending it to you is because I see that you've talked with us before, but the campaign wasn't available at that time. So I'm gonna go and send it over to you to make sure that you have your hands on it, because this campaign actually gives you benefit far beyond what you could find anywhere else. And whether you decide to use it is up to you. But the bottom line is that at least you got the information. Now there's two ways to handle that, because number one, they could have said hello, now you're talking to the person, right? And so they're gonna tell you, yeah, go ahead and send it. Okay, great, let me confirm the email that it's gonna go to, blah, 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 right? At iCloud.com. And they're gonna say, yeah, go ahead and send it. Okay, great. Now this is the important follow-up. Awesome, I'm gonna go ahead and send it. It's on its way. But before I do, while I got you on the phone, let me just verify a few things to make sure what you're looking at is worth your time. That's the follow-up. And then you go back into the sales pitch given the scenario. The second part is if you're leaving a voice message. So if you're leaving a voice message and you say that same exact opening or approach, what you want to do is say, hey, call me back first, just so I can make sure that I tailor it for you before I send it out. So reply to me, reply to my email, my text, or give me a call back. And that way, at least I can button it up before I send it out to you. Because this campaign, again, it expires pretty soon, and I want to make sure that you're aware of what you're entitled to. And so the word tracking is very, very important, because if you understand the difference between the two, number one is it's offering, right? So you're feeling, so you're asking, like, hey, you're in the market, or hey, have you put any thought to it? There's no change, right? And so it's very easy to say, yeah, we thought about it, but nah, I'm good. Whereas the second word track, the tonality and the momentum of the conversation is as if it's already happening. And so there's something powerful about that, because if something's already in motion, they're more than likely to comply.